Now on CoastTV News.
We haven't seen it in a while. The summer heat finally returns today and continues into a part of the weekend, and it's going to be muggy as well. Only slight rain and storm chances with the cold front into the weekend. Forecast details coming up.
Dry days return. We're in a stretch with little rain. How this is similar to what we experienced on Delmarve 1 year ago.
Delaware expands housing options. We look at the bills signed into law on Wednesday that deal with affordability.
The Birds are back.
They'll run out of it. Big opening, Barkley. There he goes!
Game 1 of the NFL's Week 1 in Philly. The excitement as the Eagles take on rival Dallas tonight.
This is CoastTV News Today.
And it is Thursday, September 4th, 2025. Good morning, I'm Matt Pensick.
And good morning, I'm Elisa Weber. Thank you for joining us for our 5 o'clock hour.
Yeah, I know some of you out there, you're ready to crank up Fly Eagles Fly. Any truth to the rumors that's on your playlist?
Oh no, that'd be a big rumor. No.
Do not believe the rumors.
Yeah, I don't listen to that song. Don't find a lot of joy in it, but you know. Football's tough for us, though.
Okay.
So
Yeah, we're Browns fans,
jealous.
and I'm very jealous of Eagles
Yeah,
fans.
I don't know what it's like to come off of a season after a Super Bowl.
Yeah,
it must feel nice.
All right, let's bring in First Alert meteorologist Bob Trahy. Bob, I have a feeling Fly Eagles Fly not on your playlist either.
It's not, but I like the colors of green and white because I'm a Jets fan. All right, good morning, guys. We're looking at visibility that's pretty good right now, about 10 miles. But once again, we're still seeing areas of ground fog. Some of that is thick, so we're getting back to work and school. So pack your patience, take it slow out there this morning. 61 in Georgetown now, 59 in Millsboro, 68 Ocean City, 64 in Lewis, and some cooler mid-50s inland, but temperatures definitely warmer than they have been the past few mornings because we have a southwesterly flow now setting up. The winds are light now, but those breezes will pick up this afternoon. So aside from some ground fog this morning, I think our travel weather is pretty good. Looking at mostly sunny skies, but our flow turning in out of the southwest with the cold front back to our west, and that could give us maybe a few showers and storms into the weekend. But this morning, that fog burns off quickly with temperatures in the 50s and 60s. Mid-morning, we're in the low 70s. The winds start picking up and the 80s are finally back after being gone for a while. Low 80s by noon, low 80s by mid-afternoon, and some of those winds pretty strong along the coast, up to 30 miles per hour, and we're going to increase the humidity levels as well. So definitely feeling more summer-like this afternoon as the winds start picking up. The humidity increases as well. We'll have that summer feel into a part of the weekend. Some shower and storm chances possible and a cooler Sunday. More on your forecast coming up a little bit later on.
All right, thank you, Bob. We got another morning of tracking some fog, so let's get a live look at the scene in Salisbury. You can see some of the hazy situation there above Salisbury University. Back roads, they tend to be the usual areas of concern, so a heads up as you prepare to make your way on the roads this morning. Our top story this hour are the comfortable conditions we are experiencing, but they are also a reminder of what started on Delmarve about a year ago. According to the National Weather Service, the Lewis area has gone over a week without any rain and 13 of the last 14 days without any recorded precipitation. It was about this time last year that Delaware began to experience a drought. It was a drought watch that only ended last month.
And let's take a look at the dry conditions that started last year in Delaware. The then Governor John Carney put a drought watch into effect in late October. The conditions that made watch necessary started in April of last year. It was only lifted by Governor Matt Meyer on August 18th, less than a month ago. That is when the July rainfall totals showed 5.2 inches of rain, which was about an inch above normal for the month.
This morning, an inmate at the Eastern Correctional Institution in Westover, Maryland, is facing a murder charge. Maryland State Police say 26-year-old Taiwan Chappell was responsible for the death of 28-year-old Shane Lanham, also an inmate. Now, this happened back in March. Troopers said at the time that Lanham was found on the floor of the cell of another inmate, and Chappell now faces first-degree murder, among other charges.
Safety for bikers and pedestrians along one of Milford's busiest roads is now under review. Airport Road between Canterbury Road and US 113 currently lacks sidewalks and shoulders, leaving many neighbors feeling unsafe. With Milford's growing population and more offices and businesses along the road, the City of Milford asked the Dover-Kent Metropolitan Planning Organization to study the corridor and identify potential safety improvements. Neighbors we spoke with say they already have ideas for improvements, which they feel are long overdue.
Or sidewalks for people to get around safely so they're not out in the road. If there were sidewalks, I might walk on Airport Road, but otherwise, no. Just got to stay away from as many cars as possible.
And the Dover-Kent MPO says the project is still in the early stages. Next week, they'll present to the Milford City Council. The following week, they'll meet with neighbors at the Riverwalk Freedom Festival to hear public input.
We're going live now to Philadelphia. Tonight is the night, Eagle fans. The 2025 season opener for the defending Super Bowl champions. And it's the first game of the 106th season of the National Football League.
NBC's Jay Gray shows us the NFL is showcasing one of its most heated rivals, with the Cowboys taking on the Birds.
Overnight, the city framed in green, steeped in history, home to the Liberty Bell and Declaration of Independence. The real sizzle in Philadelphia comes from cheesesteaks and
Touchdown!
the Eagles.
You know, as much as we're loved in Philadelphia, you know, it's got to take a backseat to the sports teams, especially the Birds.
And this is the moment.
The entire NFL taking a backseat to the Super Bowl champs.
Oh man, that Super Bowl was amazing. Everyone from all the way to New Jersey to Philadelphia, we all just celebrated. It was a very beautiful thing for the city.
A city still celebrating. Fans gearing up and getting ready for opening night.
Yeah, definitely. I would say I would miss nothing. If I have to work, I call out to watch the game. I'm that big a fan, you know.
The new season kicking off right here on NBC.
It's always exciting. I look at September as, well, that's when we'll find out what the NFL is really all about.
The matchup, a classic NFC East rivalry, and fans say beating the Cowboys, a team the city of brotherly love loves to hate, is the perfect way to start the run for another trophy.
You know, one thing you look for another team coming over the Super Bowl is if they're still hungry, and I think the Eagles have that hunger in them.
In a place
May I have a cheesesteak with provolone?
Sure.
where they know a little something about satisfying a hunger. Jay Gray, NBC News, Philadelphia.
The Powerball jackpot has jumped into a staggering $1.7 billion prize. That is because no winner matched all 6 numbers in Wednesday's drawing, according to the Multi-State Lottery Association. The next drawing is Saturday night. It will be the 3rd largest jackpot in U.S. lottery history. Your odds of winning are about 1 in 292.2 million.
Okay, and again, that Eagles game that we just saw, that's on CoastTV. The defending Super Bowl champion Eagles are hosting the Dallas Cowboys. The kickoff coverage begins at 7. The actual kickoff scheduled for 8:20.
The Sussex County Planning and Zoning Commission has approved a conditional use for the land in Lewis shown on your screen. The land is for an independent senior living center, which would include care facilities, a restaurant, and a fitness center, all located on the west side of Kings Highway in Lewis. We spoke with some community members at the Wednesday night meeting.
It's great that the independent living is going to be put there. That's one good thing. The restaurant and so on down below, I don't think it's a very good idea because it'll bring more traffic to Kings Highway. And of course the trees being knocked down is not good.
One reason the commission says this facility would meet the conditions for the land is the pre-existing cheer center found right next door, as well as the distance to the nearest hospital. Several pieces of legislation dealing with housing that were passed by the Delaware General Assembly are now law. Governor Matt Meyer signed the bills on Wednesday, including Senate Bill 150 that provides housing loans for low and moderate income families, seniors, and people with disabilities. The bipartisan Senate Bill 176 authorizes Sussex County to apply impact fees on new building permits. This is to help pay for the local share of school construction costs. Senate Bill 40 makes manufactured home community landlords subject to the Consumer Fraud Act and allows the attorneys general to step in with stronger enforcement. And we're just getting started this morning on CoastTV News Today.
Yeah, coming up, classroom clash, a shocking situation in Cambridge, the injuries that resulted from a big fight at the high school.
Also, Racing with Purpose, the fundraiser taking place tonight in Georgetown that benefits first responders.
But first, why one person took it upon himself to start a bocce ball league in Ocean Pines. It's this week's Coastal Connection, and it's after the break.
In Ocean Pines, neighbors are finding new ways to connect. One person's love for bocce ball has turned into a league that brings dozens of people together. In this week's Coastal Connections, Kevin Zappé introduces us to the folks who are making that happen and shows us how one game is strengthening both friendships and the community.
Mike Galello has lived in Ocean Pines for years, and when he saw 2 perfect bocce ball sets at the Ocean Pines Yacht Club, he took it upon himself to start a league.
It's a fascinating game, and people have been asking about it. We had a residential recreation court here originally, and it was being overused, so we thought, why not?
What started as a simple email asking if anyone would like to join turned into dozens of people wanting to play.
A lot of people are really interested in the game. We had people that came up to us and said, you know, because of our physical ailments, this game fits us perfect. We can come, we can play, it's social. So it's really a fantastic game.
And so the first ever bocce ball league in Ocean Pines started this summer, with 24 teams and 72 people playing throughout the week. But for many, this was their first time ever throwing the ball, which led to people asking, how do you play bocce ball?
Essentially what the game is all about is that there's a smaller ball called the baleen. It's thrown first, then each team has an opportunity of 4 balls to get it as close as possible to score points.
Elaine Brady has lived in Ocean Pines for years, and this is her first time ever playing bocce ball. And she loves the game and all the new people she met in her community.
And I'm going to leave you alone.
Don't leave me. So many new friends through this. It's a lot of fun. And you're meeting new people. I was surprised in the first year that we're doing this that it has become so popular.
This not only brings a fun and competitive sport that anyone can play, but a sense of connection and friendships being made along the way. According to Galello, the Summer League has had so much success that registration is now open for the Fall League. And you can sign up at the Ocean Pines Community Center between now and September 18th. I'm Kevin Zappé in Ocean Pines, CoastTV News.
Time is 5:16, and we're checking out the live scene before sunrise in Ocean City. And Bob, with that Eagles game tonight, people from Delmarve heading to Philly. You're saying they might see some rain.
Might see some rain and maybe hear some thunder as well. So be on guard, be weather aware as you're heading up to Philly. We'll see some showers and storms, I think, in that area. And we, too, also have a chance of seeing a marginal chance, a low chance of seeing some stronger storms this evening and tonight for the eastern shore and areas farther to the north. I think anything that develops to our west will kind of fade out, but a few of those showers could remain across Sussex County. And then again, Saturday evening with a stronger cold front, a marginal chance of severe weather from the eastern shore into western Sussex County and points north. Right now we're looking at temperatures into the 50s and 60s, not as chilly as the past mornings, but definitely still need a heavier jacket. 58 Millsboro, 64 Lewis, Ocean City 68, and the wind starting to come in out of the southwest. That's a warm weather direction. Here's the satellite picture. We're seeing some ground fog out there, so watch for limited visibility until sunrise as the flow is now turning in out of the southwest. High pressure moving offshore. We've got a cold front back to the west, some showers and storms along it from the Ohio Valley into the Great Lakes, but I think this one will kind of lose steam as it moves to the east. There's another one upstream farther to the north and west. That one could pack a little bit more of a punch as we go into Saturday. So let's walk you through it. Here's Futurecast. This morning we're in the 50s and 60s, and then by noon, first time in a long time, we've seen lower 80s inland areas and 70s at the beaches. It gets really breezy. In fact, windy at the coast, wind gusts to 30 miles per hour there. Otherwise breezy, a little muggier too inland areas with 70s and low 80s. Then this evening we're seeing clouds increasing, the possibility of some of those storms across the eastern shore, maybe northwest Sussex County, but they lose their steam as they move farther to the east. By Friday morning, we're looking at temperatures into the 60s and 70s. Friday afternoon, we're into the mid to upper 80s. Look how warm it is. And then 70s at the coast. It's going to be muggy as well. Really mild into Saturday morning with low 70s and then 80s close to 90 as we go into Saturday afternoon. Then another chance of showers and storms heading into Saturday evening as those winds are pretty gusty. Once again, near 30 miles per hour along the coast, a little lighter inland areas, but still breezy out of the southwest as we go into your Friday, as we're seeing more humidity, humid to very humid conditions as we go into Saturday, and then starting to dry out as we go into early next week. And once again, we have a series of cold fronts coming through. I think the stronger one is Saturday evening with some showers and storms, then cloudy and cooler into Sunday. 84 in Seaford and Georgetown today, 78 into Rehoboth, 78 in Cambridge, 82 in Vienna, and then farther south, Pocomoke City and Chincoteague around 80 degrees. Paul Davis 7-day forecast, of course, Eagles, Cowboys tonight in Philly. 87 Friday. Paul Davis 7-day forecast has us close to 90 on Saturday. Maybe some late day showers and storms. Then it's Sunday night football, and before that 74 and kind of cooler on Sunday. And then into next week, still kind of cool. Mid 70s for highs, remaining dry. That could become a problem with time, and overnight lows in the 50s. And congratulations to Bruce Simon from Lewis, and he has a brand new umbrella from Paul Davis Restoration and Home Remodeling and Coast TV.
Just days into the new school year, and we have a chaotic situation at Cambridge South Dorchester High School. Here's what we saw from our Coast Copter on Wednesday. Officials say a student attacked a school safety monitor yesterday, leading to a large fight. According to investigators, a 15-year-old and a 14-year-old were both arrested on multiple charges, including assault. They were later released to their guardians. Officials say several staff members were hurt, including the safety monitor, who was taken to the hospital.
This afternoon, the proposed construction of a large parking lot in Pocomoke City is getting reviewed. Pocomoke Storage LLC is looking to add 70 parking spaces at this location. It's Worcester Highway. And here on your screen, it calls for a gravel lot for RV and boat storage. At a 1 p.m. meeting, Pocomoke LLC is asking the Worcester Planning Commission to waive the county code requiring the construction of parking areas come from materials that provide a hard and durable surface.
Salisbury University says it plans to hold an emergency alert exercise this Friday at approximately 10 a.m. University police will activate the campus's emergency siren, which will broadcast pre-recorded messages pertaining to the situation. Alerts will also go to office and classroom computers, emails, SU video monitors, and text notifications.
Coming up, Stride for Service, the 5K run in Georgetown tonight that is raising funds for local first responders. Coast TV News Today returns in a moment.
In traffic news, there will be a special event zone in place in Ocean City on Wednesday, September 10th through Sunday, September 14th. The town says this will be for the OC Rock and Ride Bike Fest. The special event zone reduces established speed limits in the zone and increases fines for violations. There will also be increased police presence throughout the town.
Happening today in Georgetown, it's the 12th annual Run White and Blue 5K run and 1 mile walk, and this is at Delaware Technical Community College. The event supports scholarships for veterans and first responders. Registration starts at 5 p.m. and the race starts at 6 p.m. near the Student Services Center. Following the race, there's a post-race event with barbecue chicken cooked by the Greenwood Volunteer Fire Company.
Well, it's going to be a warm day for that race, as well as if you're at the beaches today. Bob said in the 80s.
Yeah.
We haven't heard that in a long time.
Yeah, we got the post-Labor Day situation, or as we like to refer to it, local summer with less tourists along the coast.
Yeah, I think we're going to be kind of hard stretched to get to 80s today along the beaches, inland areas for sure. It's going to be mid-70s, Ocean City and Fenwick Island, with a mix of sun and clouds and a noticeable breeze from the south. Rip current risk is moderate, UV index is high. Upper 70s close to 80 in Lewis, with upper 70s in Rehoboth, so a little warmer up the coast. And then on the bay side in Cambridge today, it's sunshine and lower 80s for you. A little cooler in Crisfield with temperatures into the upper 70s. Then more of that summer warmth and humidity into the end of the week and Saturday, and maybe a few storms as well. I'll time all of that out coming up in the next half hour.
And in our next half hour, getting ahead of emergencies, what Sussex County officials are recommending as we continue in National Preparedness Month.
Also, tides trigger change, how our lack of rain is affecting fishing in Maryland's waters.
And Milford Road risks the safety situation that caused city officials to seek outside help. Stay with us on Coast TV News Today.
I apologize for technical difficulties there, but it is September 4th, 2025. Good morning, everybody. I'm Matt Pensick. Good morning, Elisa.
Good morning, Matt. Good morning. I'm Elisa Weber. Thank you for joining us.
And it is 5:29 a.m. Friday Eve. We got the weekend in sight.
Yes, anyone who returned back to school this week, I hope the adjustment period is going well. The weekend is soon. If you need to have another break again, it can be a lot when you go from summer back to school. You need a little bit of an adjustment period. And with the weather being beautiful outside, Bob, maybe students in the classes are like, it's warm out now when we're inside in the classroom.
I would think so. Maybe a lot of daydreaming students for sure with this nice weather. As we are looking at visibilities that for the most part are good, about 10 miles from the eastern shore of Delaware and points south. But on my way in this morning, I did notice a lot of ground fog. So it's back to school and work for a lot of folks. So pack your patience, take it slow on the roads this morning. 64 in Lewis, 64 in Bethany Beach, 55 in Gumboro, 55 in Delmarve. Not as cool as the past several mornings as temperatures are warming up. Our flow is now turning out of the southwest. Winds are light now, but they'll really pick up this afternoon as we're seeing mainly clear skies. Lots of stars out there, just some areas of patchy fog as our flow is turning in out of the southwest, increasing warmth and humidity today. And a cold front back to the west. I think this will kind of run out of steam by the time it gets to Delaware, but if you're headed to the Eagles-Cowboys game tonight, maybe some showers and storms in Philly. Futurecast this morning, watch out for the ground fog, 50s and 60s temperature-wise, and then into the 70s, and then by noon, lower 80s inland areas, but still in the 70s at the beaches and a strong breeze out of the south at the coast while we're in the low 80s and breezy with sunshine as we go into the afternoon. Inland areas and very mild into this evening. Bus stop forecast once again. Watch for the yellow buses, and when they stop, make sure you stop too. It's the law. 60 off to school, patchy fog, and then heading home. Pretty good for the kiddos. Warm and breezy sunshine and 83 degrees.
Thank you, Bob. And our top story this half hour are the comfortable conditions we are experiencing, but they're always a reminder of what started on Delmarve about a year ago. According to the National Weather Service, the Lewis area has gone over a week without any rain and 13 days of the last 14 without any recorded precipitation. It was about this time last year that Delaware began to experience a drought, and it was a drought watch that only ended last month.
Yeah, let's take a look at the dry conditions that started last year in Delaware. Then Governor John Carney put a drought watch into effect in late October. The conditions that made the watch necessary started in April of last year, and it was only lifted by Governor Matt Meyer on August 18th. That was less than a month ago. That's when the July rainfall totals showed 5.2 inches of rain, which is about an inch above normal for that month. Maryland Department of Natural Resources says the lack of rain and higher salinity in tidal rivers is pushing some of the best blue catfish fishing further upriver, and they add it's also a good way for anglers to avoid blue crabs that often go after cutbait. Recreational crabbers are still catching a good number of crabs this week across all parts of the Chesapeake Bay. The department says along the Atlantic coast, surf conditions have calmed and anglers are seeing a mix of kingfish, croakers, blowfish, and flounder.
September is National Preparedness Month, and the Sussex County Emergency Management says there's no better time than now to get ready for disasters that can happen any season. This month, Emergency Management says it's partnering with county libraries to display sample disaster kits that locals can use as a model. Officials say the kits include bottled water, a first aid kit, flashlights and batteries, non-perishable food, a can opener, medication bottles, and a waterproof document sleeve, among other essentials. The sample kits are on display at the Greenwood, Milton, and South Coastal libraries, and also online at the Emergency Management Division's website.
Safety for bikers and pedestrians along one of Milford's busiest roads is now under review. We're talking about Airport Road between Canterbury Road and US 13. It currently lacks sidewalks and shoulders, and that leaves many neighbors feeling unsafe. With Milford's growing population and more offices and businesses along that road, the city asked the Dover-Kent Metropolitan Planning Organization to study the corridor and identify potential safety improvements. Sussex County Planning and Zoning Commission has approved a conditional use for the land in Lewis shown on your screen. Well, we're getting a look at that maybe later. The land is for an independent senior living center, which would include care facilities, a restaurant, and a fitness center that's located on the west side of Kings Highway. And now here's what we heard at that meeting tonight from people who live in Lewis.
It's great that the independent living is going to be put there. That's one good thing. The restaurant and so on down below, I don't think it's a very good idea because it'll bring more traffic to Kings Highway. And of course the trees being knocked down is not good.
Yeah, one reason the commission says this facility would meet the conditions for the land is the pre-existing cheer center found right next door, as well as the distance to nearest hospital.
The Powerball jackpot has jumped to a $1.7 billion prize. That is because no winner matched all 6 numbers in Wednesday's drawing, according to the Multi-State Lottery Association. The next drawing is Saturday night, and it will be the 3rd largest jackpot in U.S. lottery history. Your odds of winning are about 1 to 292.2 million.
They're getting a live look at Washington, D.C. Robert F. Kennedy Jr., head of the nation's health department, on a hot seat in that building later today.
He is testifying before a Senate committee amid upheaval at the Centers for Disease Control and flood of questions about vaccines.
NBC's Alice Barr shows us this is occurring as Florida is taking steps to become the first state to eliminate vaccine mandates.
With the nation's public health agencies in deep turmoil, Health Secretary Robert F. Kennedy Jr. facing tough questions today in a Senate hearing, Republicans demanding answers too.
What I'm most interested in is restoring the confidence of the American people in public health in America, and so far that hasn't been done. There's just been too much chaos.
The Senate's top Republican questioning the firing of Centers for Disease Control Director Dr. Susan Menares 1 month into the job, calling for stability and adding that supporting vaccines should not be disqualifying for the new CDC head amid an overhaul to the nation's vaccine approval process and new restrictions on COVID shots that pushed other top CDC officials to resign in protest.
I just saw science really being compromised, and I was concerned about scientific integrity.
Secretary Kennedy, a longtime vaccine skeptic, has said the CDC made missteps during the pandemic and defended the shakeup at the agency.
We are fixing it, and it may be that some people should not be working there anymore.
States now staking out their own rules, with Florida announcing it would eliminate all statewide vaccine mandates, including in schools.
Who am I as a man standing here now to tell you what you should put in your body?
Medical experts raising concerns like this year's deadly measles outbreak in Texas, as blue states, California, Washington, and Oregon plan to coordinate their vaccine recommendations separate from the federal government, pointing to a fractured state of public health. In Washington, Alice Barr, NBC News.
And we got a lot more news to get to. Don't go anywhere.
Coming up, new Starbucks items will tell you how these new drinks will help you meet your protein goals.
Also, walk-off winner, the big comeback for the Shorebirds last night at Purdue Stadium. Coast TV News Today is back in a moment.
5:39 on this Thursday morning. Beautiful shot of the canal. Just saw a boat going out in Lewis 63 on the Irish Ice Camp. Good visibility there. We are seeing patchy ground fog inland areas, so that's pretty thick in some spots, even though you're seeing 10 miles visibility at most reporting stations. That'll burn off shortly after sunrise. We're looking at temperatures a little milder this morning in the 50s and 60s, and a light southwest wind will pick up as we go into the afternoon. And once the fog burns off, it's sunshine, southwesterly winds, and it'll be pretty mild, pretty warm actually. Here's our drive cast this morning. I gave it the yellow light for patchy fog. Watch for that. Otherwise warm and humid for this afternoon and this evening, but remaining dry. Call the Coast TV First Alert weather phone for your latest forecast, just a call away. Sponsored by the law offices of Brockstead, Mandalis, Federico.
Stocks dropped in April when the Trump administration announced tariffs, but 401ks bounced back and did well in the first half of the year. At the end of June, the average 401k reached a record high of more than $137,000, and that's up 8.4% from $127,100 recorded at the end of the first quarter. It's according to data on roughly 25 million Fidelity investment accounts. The average balance grew by 4.6% from $131,700 at the end of last year.
Well, forget the pumpkin spice latte. How about protein spice latte? Starbucks is adding protein-packed lattes and cold foams to their menu later this month. The coffee chain giant says there will be between 15 to 36 grams of protein per grande beverage. The drinks will come in a variety of flavors as well as sugar-free and unsweetened choices. Customers will also be able to add protein-boosted milk to any beverage that has milk as a part of its recipe.
Delmarve Sports Network from the Wawa Studios.
Good morning, everyone. I know you're ready for some football, and I certainly am too, but you won't believe what happened on the baseball diamond on Wednesday. Don't just take my word for it. Let me show you what went down. The Shorebirds entered the bottom of the 9th inning of Wednesday's contest, trailing by 4 runs. They rallied all the way back, scoring 5 runs in the bottom half of the frame to walk it off. And they did it in style. They loaded the bases with a few free passes, some sacrifice movement, but Braden Smith, one of the stellar rookies on this Shorebirds team, stepped up to the dish and with one swing ended the ball game with a bases clearing double to give the Birds the win in style. And I feel like now is the perfect time to remind you to catch our final Shorebirds broadcast of the season on Thursday night on DSN. And also, we are just one day closer to Friday Night Lights on DSN. Our game of the night for this week features Delmarve hosting Parkside. Delmarve heads into the contest 0-1 on the year, looking to put a 31-8 loss to Delaware Military Academy in the rear view.
Some of the areas on offense where we're going to have to be stronger, we struggled a little bit. So it gave us a lot of areas to improve on, but at the same time, their attitude about it all, they handled it very well. There was not even when the score was out of hand at the end, we drove the ball at the end of the game right down to the goal line. And so they were still battling and doing what they had to do.
Don't miss our game of the night on Friday on DSN. Thanks for watching and have a nice day.
On DSN at 7 o'clock, the Hillcats are at the Shorebirds, and at 10:30, it's the final score.
Going live now to Philadelphia. Tonight is the night, Eagle fans. The 2025 season opener for the defending Super Bowl champs taking place right there in that building. And again, happening tonight, the season kicks off when the defending champs take to that field against their hated rival, the Dallas Cowboys. Saquon is back. Jalen is back. What a way to start the season if you are a fan of the Birds. Again, that game is on CoastTV. The defending Super Bowl champion Eagles hosting the Dallas Cowboys. Coverage begins at 7. The kickoff is scheduled for 8:20. And Sunday Night Football is back as well, and you can watch the Ravens take on the Buffalo Bills right here on CoastTV. That game is at 8:20 on Sunday.
Sources of upcoming movies range from video games to Broadway, and David Daniel has all that and more in today's Hollywood Minute.
Stop looking backwards, David. What matters is what we do next.
What's next for Call of Duty is a movie. Paramount and Activision are set to partner on a live-action feature film based on the massively popular video game franchise. The next game in the series, Call of Duty Black Ops 7, is due out November 14th.
My name is Alexander Hamilton.
Hamilton is hitting theaters. The film, featuring the original Broadway cast, debuts Friday, 10 years after it opened on Broadway. It'll be the first time the Tony, Grammy, Emmy, and Pulitzer Prize-winning show has reached the big screen.
It would mean the collapse of public media.
The Corporation for Public Broadcasting is being honored even as it's shutting down. Patricia DeStacy Harrison, president and CEO of the CPB since 2005, is set to accept the Television Academy's 2025 Governor's Award on behalf of the organization, honoring its decades of support for educational, cultural, and public interest programming. The award will be presented at this weekend's Creative Arts Emmys. The CPB is laying off most employees September 30th. After the U.S. government withdrew its funding. In Hollywood, I'm David Daniel.
If you're having a rough week, you can cheer up with a weekly dose of local good news from CoastTV with personal features, fun things to do each weekend, and more. You can sign up right now for free at coasttv.com and get your weekly dose of joy directly to your inbox on Friday.
Here's a live look into Ocean City. 68 right now on the Dry Tech Cam. Good visibility, a little bit of ground fog inland areas. The summer warmth is finally back, and the humidity too. We'll see 80s today right through Saturday, and then a chance of some showers and storms. Only a slight chance. I'll talk about that and have your full forecast in 2 minutes. Stay tuned.
time is now 5:47 and we are taking a live look outside at Rehoboth Beach this morning. And Bob, we're already seeing a little bit of a sunrise there in Rehoboth. It's going to be a warmer day, so I think you still need the sweatshirt if you're out there this morning at this time, but hopefully later today you don't need it midday.
No, I don't think so, because it's finally going to feel like summer again, Elisa, as the 80s return. Where have they been? They've been gone the last few weeks, but they're back today, right through Saturday. Highs in the 80s, higher humidity levels, slight rain chances as we go through the next couple of days. And then Sunday, I think we're looking at more clouds, cloudier into the weekend, cooler with highs into the 70s. Right now out the door, we're in the 50s and 60s, 61 in Georgetown, 58 in Millsboro, 60 in Milton. So a little milder than previous mornings. 68 Ocean City, Lewis 65. Winds are light, but the tendency is out of the southwest, and those winds will be picking up as we go into the afternoon as we're looking at clear skies. But once again, with the light winds, we are seeing pockets of ground fog. That'll burn off around sunrise. Otherwise, here's a wider view looking at clear skies from North Carolina up to the northeast. Our flow turning in out of the southwest ahead of a cold front that's kicking off some showers now across the Ohio Valley. That will move this way, and that will start to lose some steam. I think some of those showers and storms could get into the eastern shore, maybe in the Philly area for tonight. So if you're headed to the game, watch for that and be weather aware. There is cooler air behind this front, and we'll be feeling the effects of that later in the weekend. Here's Futurecast. We're looking at temperatures into the 60s as we go through the morning hours, and then by noon, low 80s from Salisbury to Milton, 80 around Berlin, but cooler 70s at the coast, but warmer than it has been, as it will be quite breezy and mild this evening, 70s and 80s with 70s at the coast. There are some of those showers and storms across the eastern shore, maybe far northern Sussex County by 9 p.m., maybe some heavier rain, gusty winds, but I think they'll lose their punch as they move to the east. Then we clear out into Friday morning, a little milder with 60s and 70s, and then mid to upper 80s tomorrow afternoon and breezy 70s at the coast. So that summer feel is back. It's a Saturday morning. We're in the low 70s and then mid to upper 80s as we go into the afternoon hours with 70s at the coast. And then it's a Saturday evening, a chance of some showers and storms once again with a stronger cold front at that time. But it's from the eastern shore farther north where we could see some damaging winds tonight with some of those storms. And then again Saturday afternoon and evening, western Sussex County and the eastern shore, maybe some gusty winds with some of those storms, as those winds today close to 30 miles per hour out of the south. And we'll see those breezy conditions continuing through your Friday as the humidity levels are pretty high into Saturday, but then we dry it out into early next week as we see more clouds building in. And then Saturday evening, that chance for showers and storms, and then just a lot of clouds and turning cooler on Sunday. Breezy today, warmer in Georgetown and Millsboro at 84 degrees, 78 Cambridge, but 82 in Vienna with 80 in Ocean City and 80 in Pocomoke City. Paul Davis 7-day forecast. We're warming through the 80s. Isn't that nice to hear? 87 Friday, some storms later Saturday, maybe some gusty winds, 89. Cooler Sunday, 74, and then Sunday night football debuts Sunday night, and then mid-70s Monday through Wednesday, dry and cool, and lows in the 50s.
All right, thank you, Bob. Legal sale of recreational cannabis in Delaware. It started on August 1st, this after years of roadblocks. The Office of the Marijuana Commissioner reports retail sales across the state totaled over $7,300,000 in that first month, with cannabis flower accounting for 55% of those sales. In the Columbia Cares dispensary in Rehoboth Beach, that ended up being one of the top 3 earners in the state.
Generic feedback is people are really excited about that, to shop locally, keep the money here locally in Delaware.
And since May, the Office of the Marijuana Commissioner has issued 79 conditional licenses and 3 active ones. More approvals are expected.
Happening this weekend, it's the Shore Living Expo. The event celebrates health, wealth, and home on Delmarve. The free family-friendly event takes place Saturday, September 6th at the Wicomico Youth and Civic Center from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. And the time is now 5:52, and we're going to check in with our coastal pet of the day.
Yeah, today's coastal pet of the day, very handsome dog on your screen. Now, the name might not be so fitting. The name is Rusty, but Rusty, in fact, does not look rusty. He seems to look very fit there. Rusty was submitted to us by Susan in Milton.
And we want to see more of your pets on Delmarve. Send us photos and tell us what makes them so special. You can take a look at your screen.
Yeah, scan that QR code at the top to get your friends to us, and then watch weekdays 5 to 7 a.m. to see all the pets we feature.
That daily diet soda may impact your memory. A new study found that people who consume the highest levels of certain artificial sweeteners, equivalent to just one diet soda a day, saw a significant decline in their ability to remember and recall words when compared to people who consumed the lowest levels. Researchers say that those who drank the most low or no-calorie sweeteners showed a 62% faster cognitive decline, the equivalent of more than a year and a half of brain aging.
Thousands of disappointed Lady Gaga fans filed out of an arena in Miami Wednesday night. The singer announced on Instagram she was postponing the concert. She apologized and explained it was due to a voice strain she sustained during rehearsal Tuesday night. She promised to reschedule as soon as possible. Lady Gaga has just 2 days to recover before scheduled performances Saturday and Sunday at Madison Square Garden in New York.
3 West Coast states are banding together to form a new public health. The partnership following the upheaval at the CDC. Wednesday, the governors of California, Washington, and Oregon announced the formation of the West Coast Health Alliance. They are calling it a response to what they describe as the Trump administration's destruction of the CDC. The governors say this new alliance will coordinate with public health guidelines that will, quote, grounded in science, not ideology. The time is now 5:56, and we're going to take another look at our warmer forecast.
Yeah, might have to turn on the AC with those temperatures creeping up there, Bob.
Yeah, dust off the air conditioner. Make sure nothing's blocking the compressor outside because, yeah, we'll need that AC the next few days. In our day part forecast, watch for areas of ground fog once again this morning. That'll burn off after sunrise, and then the southwest winds kick in, and it warms up into the 80s this afternoon. I'm thinking around 84 degrees, not exactly football weather. Here's your Paul Davis 10-day forecast tonight. It's Eagles and Cowboys in Philly. Maybe some showers and storms. So if you're headed up there, be weather aware. And then really warm Friday. Sunshine 87, 89 on Saturday. If you're headed to the Shore Living Expo, make sure you're wearing your summer gear. Could see some storms later in the day with some gusty winds. And then Sunday, 74, a sharp cool down behind a front with cloud cover. And then it's Sunday night football. And then into next week, it's cool, mid-70s. It's remaining dry. That could become a problem. Partly cloudy skies, overnight lows in the 50s. And then even cooler as we go into Friday and into Saturday, the second weekend of September, with low 70s and temperatures dipping down into the mid-50s.
All right, thanks, Bob. And coming up in our next hour, dry times. We've got little rainfall recently and how this stretch of weather compares to what we had 1 year ago. That and more when Coast TV News Today continues.